Hey, welcome back, and thank you for joining us. If you're just arriving, our guest is Okwe Bamwo. He's a U.S.-based attorney and also a very keen observer of the polity and, let it be said, current affairs generally. We've spoken to him for the first half of the program as it relates to, his take on the not Arab-Israeli, the Iran-Israeli war situation and the input of America. Okay, there's plenty of time to still talk about that. But I want to go back to, come back home. Okwe is home from time to time. He's a highly politically conscious person himself. But the last time we spoke, he didn't allow me to say that he had any particular party. So I wonder if, Okwe, if yours is among the 110 political parties associations, political associations that INEC has received applying to become full-fledged political parties, and what you think of the sheer number of such applicants.
Well, thank you so much for having me on this topic. I really was enjoying it, even though that's why I was there, but I love you asking me to comment on it. Number one, I'm not registering any political party. Niger Lives Matter, my own organization, is a non-aligned and non-political organization in terms of we are not getting personally involved, but our own job is to usher in a new Nigeria, make Nigeria great again. America has MAGA, we are pushing MAGA. And this is very offensive to me. So I find it both amusing, alarming, and very annoying, okay, and actually disgusting that INEC received 110 applications seeking to register as political parties. Now, on paper, as a lawyer, I have to be clear, this is democracy in action, they will say, but in practice, it borders dangerously close to political theater and it's unfair to the Nigerian people. Are we building a nation or are we staging a survivor? Of course, we know the right to form political association is guaranteed in our constitution. But the question is not whether they can apply. It is whether they should apply or whether INEC should be helping us to deepen our democracy by trying not to allow this absurdity. When we flood the political space with dozens of unserious, ill-prepared, ideological, empty groups, we risk turning our electoral process into a chaotic marketplace of ambition without substance. And if it plays into the hand of the current government, when we should be tightening up the opposition to put them on their toes to do better. Nigeria doesn't need more parties. Nigeria needs better parties. We need credible platforms with a national vision, not glorified weak WhatsApp groups masquerading as political movements so that they can collect money at the end of the day and turn the whole thing to a commercial enterprise. INEC needs to be firm, apply the law without fear or favor, and ensure that as only associations with restructure, re-followership, and real ideas are granted registration. Otherwise, they are turning this whole thing into, it's a very bad idea for many reasons. It's going to cause voter confusion. Too many parties on the ballot will confuse voters. We saw what happened last time. Okay. Number two, electoral logistics nightmare.
Yes.
INEC faces increased costs and logistics burdens with printing longer ballots, managing party agents, organizing debates is ridiculous. Commercialization of politics is another problem why this annoys me. Some parties are formed not to win elections, but to negotiate positions, collect political rent, so to speak, and act as spoilers that then the real actors will be running around to try to settle, to step down. It weakens our democratic equality. The more unserious parties we have, the more the political space is cluttered with noise, not ideology. Right now, even with the few we have, the ideology is not clear. Now you want to throw in 100 into the mix. It dilutes the strength of the real opposition.
It really does.
And I can do this. Let me just end with this.
Okay.
Okay? Because this is also putting our national stability at risk. Fragmentation can cause instability. So what we should be thinking about, but again, I have to say, if you give INEC power to do stuff, you really can't blame them at the end of the day. So our National Assembly should get their act together and maybe should be thinking about limiting the number of parties we can even have. Okay, if we can't do 2 parties, then maybe they should make it maximum 5 so that we can focus. Otherwise, this only benefits the sitting party or the ruling party. that's supposed to be, that their feet are supposed to be held to the fire to be able to do better. Because if there's 100 and something parties, APC will just be laughing because they are not fragmenting. And then, even when they had only 2 or 3 serious opposition, they won. Imagine if they have 100 people running up and down trying to oppose them. It's ridiculous.
And, again, just like our first guest, Kabir Akingbolu, your learned brother, he had said, as a lawyer, yeah, it's on the books. They can do this. But unfortunately, yes, it's not all things that can be done that should be done. Meanwhile, I was just reading one of the reports, and Mahmoud has said that, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu has said that, look, we are going to be as diligent as possible. I think he's pursuing the line that, look, it's a right of any bunch of Nigerians to form a party. He's not concerning himself with some of the things you and Akingbolu before you have discussed. Say, no. I'm going to limit myself to what does the law say about this. And the law, although there still are difficulties, some of them didn't even provide the interim chairman. Some of them didn't provide so many other things that are required. So, but they've rushed in the applications. That seems to tell us something, doesn't it? They've rushed in one way or the other. Let's just muddy the waters.
It's Nigerian way. It's John politics. Everybody will get settled later and they say they step down or whatever. And there are even speculations that a lot of these parties are probably sponsored even by the ruling party. Let's quickly say it out loud, right? And it's all part of politics. I'm not going to. Hey, the whole idea of politics is that it's a struggle for power. Whatever you can do that is legal for you to be able to win election is what they're going to do. So I'm not going to stay down here and start condemning APC for possibly seeding the thing with 100 people to cause confusion, because the law allows it. Like I always tell my children, people don't do what you expect. They do what you inspect. The INEC is doing this because they have the power to do it. But if the law prohibits them from registering more than 4 parties, it don't matter how many submit registration, we know they're going to end up with only 4. So we can have coherence. So it is on the legislature. I have to be clear. I'm not going to blame Mahmoud, even though I think or the INEC people, even though I think they're stupid, okay, to start with. Their job, the fact that you have the power to do this, does not mean you must be doing it. What the law says is that they have the power to reject. Let them keep rejecting, okay? Why? Because they have a responsibility to help us grow our democracy. The fact that you have the power to do something does not mean you must keep doing it if it does not help the nation. How can the INEC justify that having 50, 40, 60 parties is going to help our nation? It's not going to help us. So why is he doing it?
Yes.
Okay? Well, that's the question. He loves Nigeria.
Exactly, yeah. But you and I know, as you lawyers have been at pains to explain to us in the past, that the grand norm, the Constitution, allows it. Yes. And so even if I think it's a very silly idea, I'm not at liberty to express that opinion because it will infringe on a constitutionally guaranteed right of some other fellow Nigerians who have decided that whether you see the wisdom in it or not, I can do it. It's my right, and I'm going to go ahead and do it. Akingbolu was making the point about we've seen this kind of thing before, but we somehow survived it. It got to a stage where, you know, when you don't do well, INEC can delist you if you don't do well. Maybe that's the way INEC wants to go, that one step before the other. If you legally force our hand now. Okay, please.
Don't excuse rubbish, sir, with all due respect. The CBN has the right to raise interest rates anytime they want, right? But do they do it? The CBN has a lot of powers, but they don't do it because they look at what is good for our nation and then decide whether they're going to raise interest rate when they have their meeting or whether they're going to reduce it or whatever. That's what I'm saying. The law did not say INEC must go and be registering new parties every election. It is for them to use their common sense and what is good for Nigeria and their patriotism, because the Section 75 that gives them the power to register political parties did not say they must do it all the time.
No.
The Constitution is clear. It did not say they must do it all the time. So they need to use their own simple common sense. And so we have 40 that are existing that are not even doing anything work. First, let them first delist about 70% of them who have not do, and then tell them, let us consolidate with the one we have. Let those who want to go to court, go to court. There is no law that says INEC must register new parties. It is not there. Okay? So meaning that the law leaves it to their initiative. Okay? It leaves it to their initiative to decide whether they want to increase the number of parties or not. In other words, if they feel that the parties we have are enough, okay, they can then make the conditions to be so stringent that very few, if any, like all that one that the article them are carrying up and down, the coalition thing, that one might have a chance, but that's just one party. Okay, so they will put the conditions very high that young parties will not even be able to play. But they're not doing that. They're not doing that, and they're telling us they have the power. No, they are part of the people destroying our democracy because they're not exercising the powers that the Constitution gave them with common sense. They are exercising it. Yes, sorry.
You know, I was wondering if there is not a connection, no matter how obscure, between this revelation by Professor Mahmoud that his commission has received all these applications for associations to become political parties. I wonder if there's not a connection between this and the whole coalition brouhaha, the whole coalition business that is keeping, you know, all the people that you know, Atiku Abubakar, El Rufai, and all of those people, that is keeping them busy.
Yes.
I wonder if they, you know.
Again, I have no problem with the opposition registering a mega party. I actually expect that that's the only way they can even give APC a run for his money. So I'm not against that. I'm being very honest with you. There could be merger of parties or there could be registration of a new one. What I'm saying, because this is an INEC thing right now, INEC should not make our politics a free-for-all thing where we have no coherence, we are not growing. Our democracy is not growing because there are too many people that are commercializing our democracy. If they feel that we have too many parties, which we do, like I keep repeating, they have the unfettered discretion to put the guidelines for you to be registered as a party. They might then say something like, before you can even come to register, you must have functional offices in all the states that we must inspect. You must have this amount of money. You must have complete officers. It is their right to set the guidelines.
All right.
And then if you meet that, then we will register you. 90% of all these briefcase political parties will not even show face. But what everybody is doing now, just throw something in there, like we said, so that when the time comes, this one or that one can negotiate with them and give them. That's why we also have 50 people contesting for presidential candidate, even those who know they cannot win in their polling booth. They say, I want to run for presidency anyway. Why? Because eventually, everybody gets settled.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Okpe.
Maybe I'll run for presidency too. Maybe I'll run for presidency so that they can settle me too. At least I have small mouth.
Let me bring on Mr. George, calling in from Ikeja. Good morning, Mr. George, and thank you for holding on. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Uncle Yari.
Good morning.
Good morning to Dr. Banwo.
Yes.
Good morning,
Uncle Yari, please permit me to remain on the subject of political party registration and leave America and Israel.
Yes, please. In fact, we have reverted. We have reverted home.
Shenanigans of America and Israel since Israel will continue in their troubles for what they did to the Son of God when he was on it. So leave them and their troubles. They will settle it with nature. For the political parties, Uncle Yori, I have said it before, that to face reality on the subject, 100 political parties. The last election we had, there were 18 political parties that contested. Out of the 18, only about 3 or 4 parties got votes. So the other 14 or so did not get votes at all. So you begin to wonder if they have members, think their own members even vote for them. I don't know the purpose why they want to do what they're doing. It may be for money, or certainly it's not for patriotic reasons. But INEC has a role. I'm an advocate of reforms in our electoral laws. Okay, if there are 1,000 and the law permits them to register, let INEC register them, but with a proviso. If you are registered and within you have not won the chancellorship election in a local government, you will not be qualified to contest for any election in local government. Before you can contest for a governorship election, your party must have won at least a local government. Not that you will be wasting stationary the time of people on the queue and at the counting centers when you know very well you have no possibility of winning presidential election. You just hire one room and say it's your secretariat and start contesting for a presidential election when you cannot even win the councillorship seat. Let's get serious here.
All right, then.
INEC should do something, and the National Assembly should also assist and make sure the legislation and electoral act is amended. We can't just keep talking about it. How do you talk about 110
associations? Yeah.
Because it's too unwieldy.
All right, then. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you very much for calling in. This is a variation on the same theme that Okwe had, floated, that INEC has to come into this. There are ways for it to come into it. Yes, it might have received 110, association applications to become political parties, but that isn't necessarily the end of it. They have to come in on it. And he has just suggested possible ways that this can be done. But maybe INEC is like being too careful. Because it doesn't want to be. Immediately, people have begun to accuse INEC that it's possible that you will be unfair. So I saw INEC even defending itself already, that it will be very fair to everybody.
First, I know that because when this conversation was going on online, I know some people that are trying to say, well, America is only 2 parties. It's not true. America really does have, believe it or not, over 200 political parties that are recognized. A lot of people don't know that.
They're on the books.
Over 200. Yeah, they're on the books. So it is, but they are a mature democracy. You have to understand. For them, many of the parties are just local. They're only interested in their local issues. That's what they contest about. That's what they want to fight. So when it's on the national level, there are really only like 4 or 5 prominent ones. When you take out the Republican and the Democratic Party, then you have the Libertarian Party, you have the Green Party, and I think maybe the Constitution Party, and then maybe if you add American Solidarity Party. But all those are at the national level, just 4 or 5 of them. But so I think in our own case, trying to have so many political parties registered is inimical to the growth of our democracy.
Yeah.
And here are some of the other solutions. I agree. I've mentioned several.
Yeah.
But INEC will pretend as if they don't know what to do. They have the power. I've said it again. I'll keep saying it.
Yes.
The fact that you are giving power does not mean you should just exercise it carelessly like a retard. You cannot do that. They should think there are many ways to do this while still allowing the Constitution to be enforced. They can put, like I said before, stricter pre-registration requirements, mandatory membership thresholds. I think that they should look at very seriously. Minimum, they should say they should have minimum before you can come. You must have minimum 100,000 registered members.
Okay.
Even 10,000. 90% of these people will not be there. Sorry.
Indeed. Let me bring on Mazi Okorafor, who is waiting to join the conversation. Mazi, good morning to you, sir. Very quickly, please.
So you see, this 110 you are talking, you are just bringing revenue to INEC. To me, I will just say INEC, register all of them at least to generate funds for the federal government. Because we will look at the 110 and say, you start asking, what is the purpose? Plus the existing ones. Well, there is no problem. But the thing is that even the existing ones are not viable. Not talk about 110. Honestly speaking, the money they have gathered, they are not using it to exploit people. Well, God will help us in this country. We have a blessed day.
Thank you very much, Mazi. Mazi is even questioning the viability of the existing parties, apart from the main ones that are every day in the paper. So you now bring this one. He's saying that let INEC go ahead. If people want to be, well, if people,
spend their money.
Yeah, yes, go ahead, cooperate with them. After all, you're not robbing them. But I want to thank you very much, Okwe, for your analysis on this whole matter. and also your strong thrust that INEC is not as helpless as all of that. INEC can come in and help, quote unquote, whip things into line. Because, as you said, it's going to be inimical to the desired objective of, a straightforward election. In fact, I'm very surprised that I didn't get a call from the Boot Party, who is, as you are based in the UK, in the US, he's based in the UK, the chairman of Boot Party. Ordinarily, he'd want to comment on this kind of a thing, but maybe he's not always available when the program is going out. But I do want to thank you very much, Okwe, for your analysis on both subjects. You first of all, you looked at, the whole matter of the lawyers one, and then the whole Arab-Israeli one, which somebody has said, let us leave those people to sort themselves out. I think that person went back into the Bible and was saying that, look, judgment shall come. Leave them.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Okwe Banwo. We appreciate you always, as you know. All right, then. Okay, we're going to have to leave it